Yeah, Power Rangers is now officially deader than fucking dead. As we learned earlier today, Hasbro is auctioning off and destroying pretty much all of their suits that they have. We know for sure they're auctioning off the main 5 and the Zed suits. I assume those are the American-made ones, the American-made Ranger suits. Because I'm sure Toei would probably like the suits they made back. I know for Cosmic, they were literally dumpster diving to get old suits from Toei for monsters, which is why they have monsters from like 8 different shows in that. So I'm sure they probably don't necessarily care about like one-off monster suits or villains or whatever, but I'm sure they would probably want the Ranger suits back if they're the ones they made. As for the rest, I mean, I can't really feel bad about it, because, like, fucking who... First and foremost, they're not even the original suits anymore. All of those suits have been remade. They're not the same ones from the 90s that they used. So the whole idea of, like, oh, we gotta preserve them, oh, we gotta put it in a museum, that everybody's talking about, like, who cares? It's a replica. It's not even the real thing. Like, if they were still using the same fucking Zed costume from the 90s, yeah, I would agree they should probably kind of preserve that or put it on display somewhere. But it's just like the rebuilt one they had from like 2 years ago. It's worthless. It doesn't mean anything. It only means something because, you know, the character, and if that's the point, then fuck, we just build another suit and put it on display. You know, whatever. Who cares?
It doesn't even look like Zed's original Zed. It looks like Zed from the movie.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's that too. That doesn't even really look like the same guy.
But that's the thing, right? Like, it's one of those things where there's something cathartic about seeing this essentially a funeral for this hated fucking occasion. Because I don't give a fuck anymore, man. We said this so many times. I don't give a fuck. It's dead. Stomp on it. Spit on it. Laugh about it. It deserved to die 15 years ago. I said this before and I'll say it again. Power Rangers hasn't been good for 15 fucking years. And if you want to argue with that, then yeah, I can argue it's been bad since even before that. Shut the fuck up, let it die, burn them all in a fucking wax house like fire. If you want to get like really technical and all this shit about what's going on with Power Rangers and all this, right? Okay, fine, yeah, it sucks that they have to recoup their losses by selling essentially quote unquote history. But I don't fucking care, dude. Like, it's not like, at the end of the day, if this franchise had any fans to spare, it's not their fault that the franchise is where it is right now. It is the fault of Nickelodeon, Hasbro, Mattel, Haim Saban, Disney, Netflix, and that motherfucker Simon Bennett. It's all of their faults that Power Rangers is where it's at today.
Yeah.
You can divide blame however the fuck you want on this blame diner, on this blame pie. You can divide it however you fucking want to. At the end of the day, the pie still has one fucking name on it, and that's Power Rangers, and it failed. Why? Because all of these people had their heads so up the fucking ass of what they could do and what they couldn't do that, honestly, it would have just been better if Power Rangers ended back in 1995. Who fucking cares?
Right.
Spit on it, roll it up into a fucking carpet, burn it, and let it die. That is the last thing I will ever say about Power Rangers. At least
until we get,
in terms of the franchise.
Until we get another question.
Unless it somehow survives again, which at this point is incredibly unlikely. Unless Power Rangers becomes the franchise equivalent of like fucking Terry Funk and just cannot stay retired and gone, I don't think we're going to be talking about it anytime soon. At least in a present sense.
I was going to say, like, Power Rangers is like the equivalent of TNA. It should have been died. It should have been dead.
Well, hold on. That's not fair because at least Power Rangers started good and TNA never was good.
TNA was great because of that perk angle, okay?
I guess that's true. It had that.
What the hell is TNA?
So that's the equivalent of Power Rangers in space. Perk angle. It's like, think about it. TNA has been around for so many years. It has sucked for so many years, and everybody fucking hates it. But every once in a while, it does something cool, and everyone's like, all right, maybe we don't hate you this much this week.
This has been a long time coming, everybody who had hopes that it was going to keep coming back is just deluded. Like, I don't know how anybody didn't expect this was going to happen when Hasbro bought it. Hasbro bought it outright, to be fair. Because, like, when they first made the deal, and it's like, oh, Saban's keeping it, but they're just making the toys. Like, all right, maybe it had a chance. Once the whole thing went over to Hasbro, you should have seen this death coming a mile away. Fucking everybody who knows anything about Hasbro saw this coming. This happens so many times with their franchises that it's a wonder that they even have any money left. It was an inevitability.
I'd say they still make money off of Disney, but with the way Star Wars is, they ain't making a buck.
Well, I mean, okay, think about it, right? And this goes back. This is the callback to when we got a question about this a while ago about Hasbro kicking Toei to the fucking curb to make their own shit. I said something in that video very clearly. If they did that, they would be throwing their money away, and you might as well just kill Power Rangers off now. And guess what? The moment they threw Toei away, the moment they told those people in Japan, fuck you, we can do it better, womp fucking womp.
Immediately crashed and burned after one season.
So, as much as I hate to say it, for the first time in his M&M Muppet fucking life, Linkara was right. Just sub the fucking Sentai.
Wow, you actually gave Linkara a credit.
That's how bad it is that Linkara is getting a W.
I know. It's not much of a W if you go by his tax return. But still.
I think I'm finally glad we can build the funeral pyre and burn what remains of Power Rangers and never, ever, ever have to worry about it or give it time again.
Until they bring it back.
No, because even if they bring it back, who's going to give a shit? Because if they do what everybody keeps saying they're going to do, is they're going to remake it, or they're just going to remake Mighty Morphin again.
We don't want to remake a Mighty Morphin again. We had...
Exactly.
Where's it going to air? On fucking Pop TV?
We had it in 2010, and all they did was add shitty effects to it. We don't need another remake of Mighty Morphin fucking Power Rangers.
But that's what we're saying. Well, not only that, but again, where would it air? The only place that would air any schlock like that would not be laughed at would be fucking like Tubi. Or Pluto.
I mean, to be fair, hey, don't make fun of Pluto. Pluto has good shows. So, but no, it's like...
It's not like Tokusatsu is going to pick it up.
No.
Hell no.
They're not fucking... They'd sooner air, like, fucking Alf than they would put Power Rangers on. They have shown Alf instead of putting anything else on. That shows you how much they give a shit.
It's dead. Good. You're not going to see me crying about it. Again, and I want to say this, too, because, like, a lot of people think that we hate just the idea that Power Rangers ever existed. Like it's like we're like Dave Meltzer to WWE. We just hate the idea that it exists. No, I liked Power Rangers when I was a kid. There are still seasons I still think can hold up, and there are still things about it that I think are great. Unfortunately, all of that shit stopped in like 2005. After that, nobody fucking cared. Why should we care now? Like, it's literally that thing of like, you have fed us shit sandwiches for decades. Why should we care that you're going to give us a steak now, right? Like, at this point, who cares? So, fuck it. Let it die.
Right?
Let it die. Let it die. Let it shrivel up and die.
Just let it rest.
As I've said multiple times, Haim Saban, despite his
asshole
objectively evil nature, at least gave a shit about what he was making. Hasbro doesn't. And we should have seen this coming. And at this point, Hasbro's not going to fucking give it up. Because it's Hasbro. Why would they? So just accept that it's dead. And move on. Move on with your life. Maybe once every couple of years, they'll put Power Rangers in a fucking poster at a toy convention and bait you into thinking it's coming back. And it's not coming back. Just like they do everything else. Maybe we'll get another shitty comic in 10 years where they show up alongside, I don't know, fucking Mask or whatever, because they keep trying to make Mask a thing every now and then.
No, it's going to be with the GoBots.
No, not the GoBots.
You know what? Hey, Hey, that's probably the best way to bring Power Rangers back is put them with another irrelevant piece of media. GoBots. Transformers and Sentai versus GoBots and Power Rangers. Yeah, that's how we're gonna resolve this one.
You know what? That'd be pretty based.
You know what? I think that would probably be pretty interesting. But it's not going to happen.
I will say, how do you give less of a fuck as a company? How do you give less of a fuck about an IP than Disney did?
Right?
Disney wished it died. It actively wanted it to die. It was like Billy to his fucking spider son from Billy and Mandy. It wanted it to be dead.
Oh, it's
That's all it wanted. And it didn't die. Hasbro tried to desperately resuscitate and fucking blow air into any orifice it could find in this IP. And it fucking croaked within 5 years. How is that possible? How did you do that?
Again,
it's just par for the course for Hasbro at this point.
It's Hasbro.
That's got to be like any like financial person out there, like a stockbroker or a financial advisor. Some of y'all got to look into this because there's no way that there's not some money laundering going on in here. This is fucked. So Hasbro is fucked. Power Rangers is dead. Next question.